Welcome to Well Fucked Wife, the podcast. I am Dr. Chelsea Page, licensed sex and relationship therapist, international sex mentor and expert, helping you become healthy, wealthy, well-loved, and well-fucked. But yes, that's what we were saying, like if there's something that he's not happy about.
Yeah, I mean, like I know when it came to my desire, of even though I had, low testosterone and have been on the shots, my sex drive and desire was low because wasn't happy with certain aspects of life, and
With me.
yeah, I was trying to be
No,
gentle.
I love you. Well, yeah, because that was when, during that time I was like begging and like really freaking devastated. Sherlock, go outside. Not being sexually intimate. So then I like dove into my coaching business and was trying to find like validation there. And so like the further I went into my coaching business, like, and overspent on things, and then ignored your, I guess, what would you call it? Like not suggestions, but like very firm, don't invest in that.
Yeah.
And I ignored you and totally disrespected you.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that definitely plays a big part in it. And yeah, definitely the low testosterone will as well.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, I mean, if it's also a matter of like performance as well, like not being able to maintain an erection or anything, then there's, stuff for that that's also cheaper than the testosterone injections.
So, because the testosterone, like, how does that help you?
I mean, overall, it does help with desire. But I think also just like with the energy, just overall.
Right.
And
Not having like brain fog and stuff.
yeah.
You said, right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, if you're overall having more energy throughout the day, then you're more alert and available for, other things.
Mm-hmm. Like sex.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, so like during that time when our sex life was shit, basically. We had our hit and misses, but a lot of misses. It's like even with the testosterone shots, and that was something that kind of fucked with my mind, to be honest, because I remember like when we had talked about it a while ago, and then you had mentioned about the testosterone pieces, and then you then got it, and so there's part of me that's like, ooh, maybe this is the thing that's gonna fix it and make it all better, like almost like looking for that, expecting almost like a magic fix. And then so when it didn't, I was like that was like even just more devastation. It's like, fuck. Like, okay, maybe this will do it, maybe this will fix it, maybe this will fix it, but it's like so multidimensional.
Yeah, no, it's definitely not as simple as, oh, like get this shot and you're better, oh, take this pill,
take Viagra, and it's all okay.
Yeah, there's a bit more to it than that, especially for a guy.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's the hard thing is like, and I mentioned that to the gals, and another voice thing is, I think just culturally and things we see on movies, TVs, or just even when we're younger, just experience or shown that guys are supposed to want sex all the time.
Yeah.
And so if they don't, then it's like, well, what's wrong? What's wrong with me? What's wrong with you? Like, yeah. So yeah, and I think, you know, there's the hormonally where things biologically, because like erections, it's like blood flow.
Yeah.
And
yeah, I mean, if you're overweight or have high blood pressure, that fucks it up.
Yep. So like there's that piece, and then there's the emotional side of things, and I don't know, what would you say has the like biggest impact?
Honestly, I think the emotional.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, I think with kind of the performance side and being, you know, frustrated with that, I think that's a little bit easier of a fix rather than trying to like get the desire to
What do you mean?
like be intimate. I think the harder part is, yeah, like the desire part to overcome, because you can't just take a pill for that.
Right.
You can't just,
Yeah.
you know, there's no magic fix for that usually, other than, you know, just general health and mental health and yeah, being happy and, you know, happy with your situation, whether that's with your partner or work or otherwise. So
Yeah, that emotional piece. I'll have to share my pyramid, because yeah, with the intentional intimacy pyramid, it's like to get to the sex you want, you need to have the self intimacy, emotional intimacy, physical intimacy, and sexual intimacy, and that emotional layer is so fucking big, I think, for all of us, men, women, whatever.
yeah, well, and that, I think that was, you know, a thing that I didn't really recognize how big of an impact it had.
Really?
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I was working at M&L, I was just not happy being there.
Right.
And that had a huge toll on just my overall energy and what I was available for. And
Yeah, 'cause you were so unhappy at that job.
yeah.
Yeah. It was like that, and then yeah, to circle back to then because we weren't having sex, and then all of my inner and it's not like it was not, but it's like, okay, I'm like, I can count these on my hands here. This is not fun. And then just then thinking, where it's like my anxious attachment of like, oh, well, if we're not having sex, that means he doesn't love me. And if he doesn't love me, then he's going to leave me and I'm going to be abandoned. And
Doom and gloom.
Doom and gloom. Well, and then like the hard part too is because like we've done so much work of just opening my heart and like trusting in your love. It's like when that then fear has gone away, like I know that you're not gonna leave me, and the only way you would leave me really is if like out of not choice, like if you got in a car crash or something.
Yeah.
And so it's like, okay, he loves me, so why isn't he fucking me? Like it kind of, I was like grouping it all together. And so, yeah, so during that time it was like, well, this is not working. And then, yeah, I just dove into the coaching stuff and then was overspending and then totally disregarding your direction. Basically, do you remember that time when it was like, I realized that you kept trying to redirect me from like jumping off a cliff, and I felt it as you were trying to like control me.
Yeah.
And like, and you're like, no, danger, you're gonna jump off a cliff. And I'm like, la da da, don't tell me what to do. So it was like totally feminine defiance. And because I was resentful. It's like, don't fucking tell me what to do, because, wow, I'm actually just realizing this right now. Like, I mean, I know I was resentful, but just in this context, like, don't tell me what to do, and I'm going to do what I want to do because you're not giving me what I want over here. So, and then you're going to tell me not to do this over here. So then I then would feel like way too deprived. Interesting. And then, yeah, you were then got more and more unhappy, which means our sex life went worse and worse and worse. And then I just dove deeper and deeper and deeper into my business. And until that spiral got to a point when, like, you really were like, no.
Yeah. Really put the foot down.
Like, really. And that was, yeah, that was like definitely our rock bottom. It was really, really fucking hard. But that was like legit like a year ago. Like a year and like 2 months ago.
Yeah. A little over a year.
Like a little over a year. So yeah, it's like all these pieces. So yeah, again, the hormonal, yeah, and there is the biological aspect, yes, but that emotional piece and energetic piece is so massive. So it's like, if you're not happy and I'm completely disrespecting you, why would you want to fuck me? Why would you want to have sex with me? Oh, and I remember you saying like you were like resentful and mad at me, so you didn't want to then bring that into the bedroom, right?
Yeah, like, yeah. I'm trying to think of like the best way to phrase that, but yeah, I mean, essentially.
Yeah. So yeah, so then that was blocking you from like going in the bedroom too. Because yeah, you weren't happy and upset with me. And I know there's like other layers too. And I actually talked about this with my coach too, like the Madonna whore stuff as well.
Yeah.
I feel like that was a huge one as well.
Yeah, I think kind of getting on the same page, like as far as what is okay in the bedroom as well.
Yeah.
And that can be a very awkward talk sometimes, even with a partner.
Yeah, well, like I can tell my clients, it's like it's like vulnerable to share your, emotions, wants, and needs. And then sex is like a whole other layer of vulnerability. So it's like the depths of vulnerability. And so that's why so many of us don't talk. But yeah, like got us on the same page. I mean, it's like one of the ahas that I came to is like, okay, you love me. So I'm like feeling well loved, and I'm letting your love in now instead of resisting the masculine because I'm grouping you in with men who have hurt me in the past, and instead like untangling you from that and being like, no, you are not my dad. You are not these assholes from the past. You are you. And so yeah, feeling loved, all well loved. And then it's like almost like the bedroom. Then I was feeling like I was, how would I say it? Like, it's like you're having sex with me as the Madonna, or not having sex with me as the Madonna, as the pure wife that you love and want to care for and respect and all those pieces. But it's like, okay, love me like the Madonna, but fuck me like the whore. And so like constantly feeling like this gap of like full, it's like I was feeling like you were like half penetrating me as the Madonna, and I'm like, no, there's more. Like, give it all to me. And that's like that craving is like I just want, that deeper connection, that heart connection, but also that pleasurable sacral connection too, which is the both and.
Yeah.
But what was your fear about like not just like having that conversation of getting on the same page of what's okay in the bedroom, but like if you brought like your sexual self fully to the table.
I mean, I think it just took a little while in general to just realize that that was also a factor. And I don't know. I'm trying to think of like what.
I feel, oh, I'm just remembering a conversation we had, because I know, and this was a frustrating thing is, because I know we had that conversation even when we lived in our apartment.
Yeah.
And so then I think it just wasn't yet able to be like actually like acknowledged and integrated and like action to change on it. It just kind of got buried back inside again. And so when it came up again, and I remember us having a conversation when we were out and about it again, and I think you're like, oh shit, that's exactly what's happening. And like able to maybe actually see it and do something different with it.
Yeah. Well, and that was also 8 or 9 years ago too. So
In our apartment.
yeah.
Yeah.
So that's quite a long time ago. And I mean, obviously, knowing what we know now,
Yeah. In hindsight.
yeah, I don't think either one of us kind of had any type of real grasp of what the hell we were doing in life.
Right? Yeah. Well, and I think that would kind of fuck with my mind on my side is like, well, this is my job. And like at the time, it's like, okay, way back when, sex and relationship therapist, and then, dove into the online intimacy coaching. And it's like, okay, I literally help hundreds and hundreds of people in this arena. So, the whole kind of imposter syndrome, I guess. And, but it's like our life's work is where we're going to keep being initiated into. So it's, lots of lessons that needed to be learned in all aspects. It's like, it's one thing to know it, it's another to live it and embody it and go through it and go, oh, fuck.
Well, and everyone's, situation is
It's all different.
unique and different, and there's no, like, as much as you can kind of put everything in a playbook to just like generalize everything for everyone, it doesn't always work that way.
No. Well, and it's like this craving of like, I wish I had a me for me. And I remember telling a client this last week, I was like, it was like, even, we still have our couples therapist, and I was like, I need support too, because when you're so close to it, it's like you can't see it. And having someone else be like, oh, it's right there. And you're like, dang it, thank you for pointing that out. Because we also play, I feel like our subconscious is so sneaky. We can play hide and seek with ourselves. And I feel like there's parts of me that play hide and seek with me. So I need someone to be like, found you. Yeah. I'm trying to think if there's any, I know there's so many layers to it, but I mean, so here's the thing, like there's a part of me, like when you'd said, like even the first time the Madonna Whore piece came up like 9 years ago, it's like, that's how long I've been trying to have a juicy sex life with you. It's a long fucking time.
Yeah, I think also too, I didn't really know like my full sexual self too, so I didn't really know, I guess, like what to even like, I guess, ask for, if that makes sense.
Asked for in what way?
Just in the bedroom, as far as like really understanding the things that I like, and using that in the bedroom.
What do you think has helped you, like, know your sexual self more, and then to share it with me?
I don't know. I think just time and experience. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if there's really any other factor, I suppose.
Well, I wonder if just in a lot of our kind of our healing in ourself and in our connection, just in like the love piece and that like secure attachment arena, just, you know, feeling maybe even just safer to tell me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think just being open to explore. There's another piece I was gonna say, like, what is it? It got like that happiness piece again. It's like, why would you even have any space to even begin to think about your sexual self and what, you know, that part of you needs and doesn't need to even want to or initiate going into the bedroom, let alone what we do in the bedroom when, like, say in your old job when you were fucking miserable and you were just energetically depleted. So there like wasn't even any energy to even like probably give it a thought.
Yeah, definitely a lot of kind of coasting, I think.
Yeah.
But, you know, that was also like right at the start of COVID and stuff too.
Oh my God, and that's a whole other, yeah, that definitely, well, yeah, because that was, yeah, start of COVID, and that was the, so not only was your job crazy and shitty, and then your boss was, it's like you didn't want to stay in the office because I was pregnant at the time, and you're like, if this, whatever the hell this is, like, I don't, like, I've got, like...
Yeah, well, yeah, I think he literally said, like, you know, we're going to stay in the office until they literally kick us out of the building. And then I think, like, within the same week, Denver went on, like, full lockdown, and they got kicked out of the building.
Yeah. When you had to use vacation time, because
that's right.
That was...
Yeah.
I felt so loved in that move, like how you just firmly stood up to your boss and was like, no. And just in, you know, and this is, I think is just, not I think, I know as women, like we want to be, you know, supported and taken care of and protected. And that was definitely like, that was a big masculine moment. That was really huge. Even in the midst of all the like worry stuff and, you know, and then there's the whole financial conversation, which weaves into the overspending things. And then at that time is when my therapy practice like collapsed, like, right. My income went from, like my full practice down to like less than a quarter.
Yeah.
So like overnight, my income went like super far down and you were miserable at your job. So like, did you even have a choice to like leave that job? Even though you're unhappy, it's like, yeah, there's a choice, but like the risk involved in that was like way too massive.
Yeah. Well, I was interviewing with other places.
That's
back in
right.
like January, February.
But they cut it all off.
Then,
that's right.
Yeah, like they were getting ready to, you know, extend an offer, and then they're like, yeah, you know, we're gonna hold off on any offers till we find out like
what's going on,
what this whole COVID thing is. Yeah. That's kind of history.
Yeah. Well, and then, so yeah, that was basically around here. So April, like end of April into May is when we went on lockdown. And then that was when, yeah, my therapy practice collapsed. And then I had the ectopic. Yeah. The second one. So
yeah.
Then
same month.
In that same month on Mother's Day weekend. So yeah, so then that, I mean, definitely, that, that definitely had a huge impact on our sex life for a while.
Yeah.
Like huge.
Well, and even the first ectopic did too.
Yeah.
Because you're doing the chemotherapy shots,
Oh
and
my
that
God,
took
that's
like
right.
6 months.
So what's so interesting, it's like, yeah, we want these things to like shift really quickly, because then I'm like, God, it's been 9 years, um, and just side note to this listing, it does not have to take that long because we could fast track things. But then, with all the things that I know, but also there's things outside of our control, and it's how we respond to those things and understanding that they're going to have an impact on your relationship. And it's like working with those pieces. And so it's like best to focus on what you do have control over, and then navigate through the things you don't as best you can. But yeah, fuck, I forgot about that. Like, yeah, because when was our first? Was that 2019?
Yeah, I mean, it was like August 2019.
Yeah.
And then it took about like 6 months. So then that was like January, February. And then we started trying at, I think, that 6 month mark. And then I think we got pregnant. And then that's like February to May.
Right.
Is when all of that.
Right.
Maybe a little earlier, but.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, gosh, I forgot about the chemo shots. How could I forget? Because, at the time, we had an hour to decide if I was going to go into surgery to lose my fallopian tube, or we tried the chemo shots to hopefully preserve my fallopian tube, and then did the chemo shots, and then, and then, we later tried again, which got pregnant on the first try both times.
Yeah.
That was not the issue. And then, and then that goes into, see, that's so multidimensional. Because then on my side, a couple things. So then, that first time, then the chemo shots, and that definitely impacted things and energy and all that, just even on my side. And then I'm sure you were hesitant to kind of pursue that more. Maybe, I'm sure that didn't rev up your sexual self. And then, the second time, and then, the second time went to the ER, ruptured, almost died. And, just the, like, emotional processing of all of that, of just not just the loss, but, like, the fact that I could have been lost. And that was massive. And then, so just the emotional processing of that. And then, honestly, I was afraid to have sex for a while. Like, afraid. Because it was like, I might die. Like, literally, sex equals death. Which is not what you want to connect that to. Like, pleasure equals death. So, I remember, gosh, this is so interesting, all these memories. I remember, like, I wouldn't even masturbate. Like, I couldn't, like, my pleasure, I was afraid to, like, reach that level of pleasure for, like, because it equated to death in my mind. And so I, like, moved through feeling safe to just open my body again and open myself, and then have an orgasm for the first time after that. It was very healing. And then that opened up more doors for us to be more sexual, but it's still, I think it lingered for a while, I feel, for both of us. Because then because it's like the fear of what could happen, but then just fear of getting pregnant again.
Yeah, because I don't think you got the IUD back in for a long time.
No, I didn't.
And then, then there were times where we would have sex and then you would cry during it, which is not attractive.
I forgot about that too. Because it was just a lot of a repressed emotion, and then just, being open in the bedroom, it just, my emotions were like, woohoo! We found an exit. Yeah, so then that definitely would impact yours, like, you're wanting to, yeah, how did that impact you, like, wanting to have sex with me?
I think that answers itself.
Pretty self-explanatory, just nope.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was yeah, I mean, that's when we started seeing our therapist.
Yeah.
Just the processing through the pregnancy pieces and then just our sex life. It was really, yeah, tough. And then, yeah, and that's when, well, honestly, I remember talking to my mom about this, that this kind of aha, and I think I just recently shared with my coach too, but like all these things compounding on my side is like I felt like way down deep, just feeling so much shame and just failure of, I feel like I've failed as a woman to be able to produce a child. And then I feel like I'm failing also as a woman because I can't somehow get my husband's attention to have sex with me, which obviously the lay of the land explains why. But just when we're in that emotional place, we can't really see that. It just feels so personal and devastating. So I'm like feeling like I'm failing as a woman, and being able to create, and feeling like failure as a woman to, you know, be able to, yeah, be pursued by my husband in the way that I'm really desiring. And yeah, that both of those then fueled into me diving, you know, deeper into my coaching business. And but then that wasn't working the way that I wanted to. And so then feeling shame over there, and then so I'm just feeling like a failure fucking everywhere, and just diving deeper and deeper and deeper into the hole that also, like we said, the spiral of then the more and more unhappy you got, because you were like, yeah, I was ignoring your happiness, disrespecting you, and completely in a place of self-abandonment and abandoning you, because I didn't want to sit with the feeling of feeling like a failure and shame. Yikes a doodle.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what did we learn?
Oh my God, I love you. Well, I think that's, I mean, part of like what's so powerful is like, again, I know all these things on an intellectual level, and then just how much you and I have gone through to like live all of this. Like, weren't we saying like a while ago, like feels like even this last year or so, feels like we literally have lived like 10 lifetimes, not 10 lifetimes, like 10 years worth of growth, like, right? And just how much like our financial intimacy is on point, like our emotional intimacy is on point. I feel like our self pieces are really good, and we're focusing on our body stuff more. You know, you're gotten your surgeries, and you know, I'm getting my pelvic floor physical therapy, and oh my God, got my PMDD and endometriosis shit figured out. That was detrimental for sure. And yeah, moved through the burnout that I had, went through the initiation portal of me finally looking at my feeling of failure and shame, and finally actually going through it. And yeah, how would you describe how it feels in our relationship now, after all that freaking basically all the work we needed to do since probably way back when? It all stacks and compounds, but I feel like it just all just whoosh happened the last, like, you know, year and 2 or 3 months or whatever.
Yeah.
But,
What was the question?
what's it like now?
I mean, much better, definitely. I think there's still some room for improvement. I mean, I know, at least for myself. So,
How so?
just personal health goals that I want to spend more time and energy focusing on.
Same. But it doesn't feel like the magic wand fix that I was trying to make it before. Like, if you would just get healthier, this would all be fixed. If you would just, get the testosterone and then it would all be fixed. And if this just happens, and it's like, no, it all compounds in. And like, yeah, there's no pressure on us getting healthier. Obviously, it's just gonna like make it even better.
Yeah.
It's like things are good, and I would say they're great, and it's like we're reaching into those next levels of fucking phenomenal. And yeah, I feel like our body stuff, yeah, it's that self piece and the body pieces are both of our next levels and layers. Yeah. Yeah, feels pretty damn good. And I think sometimes that can be, I'll say this one last thing is, I feel like sometimes that can be tricky because it's quote unquote like easier to move into like new levels when things are like feel really bad and feel shitty. But it's like when it feels pretty damn good, it's like, well, it's just really nice here. Like, or do we need to like have it be even better? So it's like has a different motivation behind it. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, I think the contrast between where you were before and where you want it to be or, could be. I think that definitely has an impact on your perception of how you're moving through those things and where you want more out of.
So if there's like, I shared with the ladies before about like, there's these different levels and you might find yourself at like level 3 and you're wanting to be at level 33. But then like, I feel like we are at level 33 right now and it's like, well, what's next? But also celebrate where we are. But I guess what I'm trying to say is like maybe where we ultimately want to be is at like level 37. And so it's like not as far away as if we were at level 3. Does that even make sense?
Yeah.
But like hold on, I'm going to hash this out for a second. Like, because you said like the perception, right, of the change that needs to happen is different because it maybe feels further away. But like what new perception is available when it maybe is seemingly a lot closer?
Yeah, maybe not perception was the right word, but I mean, it's the same thing of like, trying to like lose weight, right? If you are, very overweight, then
If you're at like 100 pounds overweight.
Yeah, then, losing 100 pounds or anywhere along that line, is progress. But if you just, get down to the end and you just want to lose like 10 pounds more, then the difference from where you began to where you're going is, a different scale, different.
Yes.
Yeah. And so, and then also, along the same analogy,
I love when you speak analogy to me.
But also, if you're trying to measure it every single day, there's going to be ups and downs, there's going to be fluctuations. And it might not look like progress is happening, but if you look at it, where you were 6 months ago to where you are now, then there might be, a substantial difference. So it's not as simple, I guess.
Right. Well, and I think this also goes to a piece of how are you like calculating progress. And I think what can happen is we can get so focused on, well, like, I mean, just even the like weight example stuff, like we got a new scale, which is fucking awesome. And it does not just your weight, but it does like the body fat, muscle, like water weight. It tracks like freaking everything, like gives this whole report so you can see. It might, if you like just looked at one factor of like losing weight, it might look like the scale's not moving and then you get fucking frustrated, but you might have lost 3 pounds of fat and gained 3 pounds of muscle.
Yeah.
So there's another metric to look at. But if you're just looking at one metric and that one isn't moving yet, it can look like nothing is happening when actually there's a lot that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, you're changing the composition of your body.
Yeah.
And
which then helps you lose even more fat in that, instance, because you have more muscle, and there's definitely an order of operations. Yeah, so I think just in, relationship pieces is knowing the different areas to look at and to be like, okay, if this one doesn't look like it's moving, where is it moving? Yeah. And like look at the different ways that the metrics that you're tracking.
yeah.
So yeah, like even if it's like, okay, if you keep, because this is where I would get in the downfalls, like I keep looking at just the one metric of like, are we having sex? Are we having sex? Are we having sex? And so if that metric wasn't really moving and changing, then it felt like nothing's fucking happening. And instead of zooming out and saying, okay, but what is shifting? What is changing? What is moving in that direction on the self layer, on the emotional layer, on the physical layer? Yeah. So, I love that. I don't know. I feel complete. Do you have anything else to add?
No, I
No.
don't think so.
Thanks, baby.
Welcome.
I imagine that's going to be really fucking helpful. That was helpful for me.
Yeah.
Just talking through some of that as well. So.
Well, and also, remembering, some of
journey.
the old shit that we've been through, and also recognizing the impact that it's had even, during that time, and what led to now.
And that doesn't even touch on the like beginning years of our relationship. That's a whole other conversation.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, a little teaser on that one. So, yeah. So there you go, ladies. Thanks, Paul.
Welcome.
That was fucking delicious. Thank you so much for joining me for today's episode on Well Fucked Wife, the podcast. If you're ready to dive in deeper, check out all the goodies in the description and make sure to join me at drchelseapage.com, where you'll find all my current offers, including my private mentorship and private luxury retreats. I'll see you in the next episode on Well Fucked Wife.